What's up guys, it's Josh here from KeepItTechie, where I help you learn Linux and break into the tech field one command at a time. And in today's video, we're checking out a tool that every home labber or self-hoster needs to know about, and that's Authentik. If you ever find yourself juggling too many logins between all your web apps, dashboards, and containers, Authentik can fix that for you. It's an open source single sign-on solution that makes managing access across your services way easier. Now, before we jump in, do me a quick favor. Go down and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss any future Linux tutorials like this one. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what Authentik actually is. Now, Authentik is an identity provider and authentication gateway for your applications. Think of it as your own personal login hub. And once you log into Authentik, you can access all your connected apps without typing usernames and passwords for each one. Now, it's built in Python and Django on the back end, and also Postgres for storage. And it supports a ton of industry standard protocols: OAuth 2, SAML 2, LDAP, Radius, and even Skim. Now, you might be thinking, Josh, there are already tools like Authentik or Keycloak. Why use Authentik? That's a good question. The short answer, Authentik is simpler to set up, has a cleaner UI, and it automatically generates a self-signed certificate during setup. So you don't need to worry about configuring HTTPS right away. It also logs all login attempts, supports custom branding, and is flexible enough to integrate with almost any service, from your local Nextcloud instance to Grafana or Portainer, or even your Proxmox dashboard. It can handle it all. Now, the website is goauthentik.io. And of course, I'll have the link down in the description of the video so you can get a little information about it. But if you click here on pricing, as you can see, it's open source. And so for home labbers, it has a lot of features for you to use. And one other thing I want to point out, it does support web-based RDP or SSH access, which is super dope, in my opinion. Now, they do have a professional version as well. I think it's $5 per user per month, and you get a little bit more features when it comes to it. But the open source version, if you just have a home lab, it should be all you need. And also, another thing I want to show you guys is the documentation site. So it has pretty much everything you need in order to learn the application, as well as installation guides and all like this. And also, you can check out the project on GitHub. There you go, right there. Like I said, it's open source. You can even contribute to the project if you want to. One cool thing I like, it has a light and dark theme, but as you can see, you can add all your services in there. And then this is like the management dashboard, and I'll show you guys that once we get it installed. But just to give you a little bit more information, let's say you've got a home lab running 5 or 6 containers. Let's say they're Nextcloud, Git, Grafana, and maybe Jellyfin or Plex. Each one has its own login system, right? That could be a headache. And with Authentik, you sign in once and boom, you're authenticated across all your connected services. It's also great for role-based access control. You can create groups, assign policies, and easily manage who can access what. And since Authentik is self-hosted, your credentials stay on your own server. There's no cloud dependency or no third-party logins. And if you care about privacy, security, or convenience, this is a must-have in your setup. Okay, so let's get to the fun part. What's up, y'all? If you've been watching my channel for a minute, you already know I stay talking about Linux. And if you're looking for a solid, reliable enterprise Linux distro, let me put you on to Rocky Linux. This is the go-to replacement for CentOS, and it's built for the community, by the community. It's got everything you need for a stable and secure Linux experience, whether you're running servers, home labs, or enterprise workloads. And the best part, it's backed by CIQ, making sure it stays rock solid for the long haul. So if you're tired of these companies pulling a plug on your favorite distros, Rocky Linux is where you need to be. And I've covered Rocky Linux before, and trust me, it's worth checking out. So head over to rockylinux.org to learn more and get started. Keep it techie. Peace. All right, so I'm SSHing into my Ubuntu server, and we'll be setting this up on Ubuntu Server 24.04 LTS. I'll be using my Docker install script from the KeepItTechie wiki to handle the Docker setup. It's tested, reliable, and works great for both home labs and production servers. So first thing you want to do once you're logged into the server is to update it. So all you have to do is type sudo apt updates, and then we could put these commands together, but sudo apt upgrade, and then we could do -y for it to answer that question if you want to add the package to your system that may be available. And as you can see, we don't have any upgrades, so we're good to go. Now let's go on and get our wiki script. Now let me switch back over to our browser, and then I have the wiki page up, and of course I had a link down in the description of the video for this. But if you go to my home wiki page, so it's wiki.kitpro.us, you can type in Docker, and it should be like the third result, Docker and Docker Compose, and this will take you to my script. And I have a script breakdown, so it breaks down each part of the script if you scroll through there and look at it, and then also a link to the script so you can download it. And what I'm going to do is just right click on it, hit copy link address, and then we can switch back over to our terminal, and then all we have to do is type wget and then paste our link in there. And the way I had the script up there is not executable, so you can't just run it directly from the site, which I want people to go through and just make sure it's something they want to actually run on their system, so you can cat it out. The install docker.shaw, you can go through everything that's in it. I don't want it to be automatically executable. I want people to go in and look at it, just make sure it's something they want to run on their system. Anyway, change the permissions to make it executable. So all you have to do is put +X and then our install docker shaw script. Let me go on clear. And after that, all you have to do is type // and then install docker.shaw. And this will go through, update your system again if it needs any updates, and then it'll run through the install of Docker and Docker Compose. It'll install the repository, the keys, and all that good stuff, and get it set up on your system. So I'll be back when this completes. All right, so as you can see, it's completed, and you'll see at the end of the script that it will verify the Docker installation. So it'll bring up the Docker versions and the Docker Compose version. And then one other thing, just verify that your user is part of the Docker group. So let's go sudo user mod, and then what we want to do is specify -a, capital G, and then the group you want to be added to, so Docker, and then we want to add our user account and press enter, and that will add us to the group. And then if we exit out the server and go back into it, all you have to do is type groups, and this will show us as part of the Docker group. So we have been added to the Docker group, so we don't have to use sudo in order to run any of the commands. Now, one of the things I like to do, just to make it simple, I'll show you guys, you can store all of your projects in the op directory, but I'll just do it in my home directory. It really doesn't matter. So I'm gonna just do make directory Authentik and press, and then also let's cd to that directory. So boom. And this will avoid permissions issues and make editing files a little bit easier. It's cool this way. Now, one thing we need to do is create an environment file, and I'll show you guys how to do that right fast. So type nano, and then what you want to do is make this file hidden. So you put a period there, because any file with a period in front of it is a hidden file, and so it won't show up. Like for instance, once we create this, and I'll show you guys, it looks like nano is not installed, so let's go install nano and -y. Let's go down and type in our password, wait for this to finish, and boom, we're good. So let's create our environment file, and what I'm gonna do is just paste what we need in there, and I'll just walk you guys through what I'm putting in there. So this is our Postgres password. So all you have to do is make a variable, so pg pass, and I created these variables based on the default compose file that they have for Authentik in their documentation. It's pg pass, that will be our Postgres password. So you could put whatever you want there. You could change this. I just left it your strong password here, which is fine. It will grab that variable and place it within the compose file. And you want to keep this stuff separate because it's basically a security benefit to store everything in an environment file. And then we have our Authentik secret key, and this will be generated using OpenSSL. It'll create a random key, base 64, 32. So we're good to go with the key. It'll generate it for us. Now, let's go down, save right fast and exit out. And like I said, this file is hidden. So if we run ls, you'll see that it's not there, but it actually is there. It's just hidden. And you have to type ls-a to actually see the environment file. So it's just security thing. Now, the next thing I want to do is show you guys where to get the official Authentik compose file. So if we go back to our browser, and then let's go back to the home page for Authentik. If you go under installation and configuration and click on the Docker compose installation, which you have multiple ways of installing. You got Kubernetes installation, AWS install, but we're going to look at the Docker compose. If you go down here, this gives you the wget link, and what I'll do is just copy this right here, and this will get us our compose file. So let's switch back over to our terminal and paste that in. We'll just use wget to get our Docker compose, and we can ls right fast, and we'll see that we have our Docker compose file. And if we go into it, so let's go nano docker compose.yaml and open it up, you'll see that we have our environment file being pulled into the compose file. That's why I recommend you guys get the one from their documentation, because it has the variables already set. And we go down and let's see Postgres password, you'll see pg pass. That is our password that we have in our variable file. And if we go down a little further, you'll start seeing references for your actual key for Authentik, like right here, Authentik secret key. This is that variable right there. So it's pulling that from the environment file as well. So boom, you'll see the .environment file, and it'll pull that information from that configuration file. So we don't need to make any changes to it. I'm gonna just roll with it. And the first thing you want to do is pull down the images. And so let's just start with that. And it's a simple command. Let me clear the screen. So all you have to do is type docker compose and then pull. And this will pull all the images for everything in the compose file. So Redis, we got a worker, we got PostgreSQL. It's going to pull all of that for us. Now that we got our images pulled down, we can go down and start up Authentik or launch it. So all you have to do is type docker compose and then up and then -d for detached. And let's go down and press enter, and that will start up. It'll create our network. It'll create the database. It'll set up Postgres, Redis, the workers, and all that stuff. And just give it a couple minutes for all the containers to start up. And then you can also check the status once it's done, and I'll show you guys that in a second once everything is created. But you can use docker compose, and there we go. So it's finished. So docker compose ps, and this will show you all of your containers and that they're up. As long as they say healthy on it, this one is still starting, but as long as they say healthy, that means they're all running properly. Now, just so you guys know, the port for Authentik is 9000. So 9000 is the port, and you can see that in the configuration file. And then once you have a cert on it and you're going HTTPS, then it's 9443. So that's the port that it's actually on. And I also wanted to show you guys another command that will help you see if everything is done. You can look at the logs by using docker compose and then logs. And I always want to show people this, that way you can at least see how to do it. So we can do -F, press enter, and you'll see that it's still going through and setting everything up. So applying authentication sources, LDAP is really setting everything up. But this is a way to verify when the server is fully up, because you can go to the site sometimes and it won't pop up right away because it's still in the background doing the work that it needs in order to get everything set up for you. So I'll just let this keep going, and then once it finishes or slows down, we'll know that the system is up, and then we'll hop over to the browser. And just from looking at the logs, I can tell that everything is set up. So we can go down and close our logs, our Docker logs, and we can go over to our browser. And then let me show you guys how to get to it right fast. And actually, it breaks it down up in here. If we scroll down a little further, here it is. You will get a not found error if initial setup URL doesn't include the trailing slash. So you want to make sure you type it in just like this. So put the IP address of the server or host name, port 9000, /if/flow, and then initial setup, and then you need to make sure you put that / at the end of it. Now, I already have it written out just to make it quick for the video, but let's open up a new tab, and then we can go to that link. And boom, there we go. So the first thing it wants you to do is create a admin account, the default admin account. And I'll just put kit or keepitTechie@gmail.com. That's fine. And then let's go down and create a password for it. Super strong passwords, and type it in twice. and then hit continue, and we're not going to save it, and boom, so we logged into our admin console. Now that we got it up and running, let's explore how to actually use it. So one of the first things I want to do is show you guys how to create a new user if we need to. So if we go under administrative page, this is a lot. I'm telling you, it's a lot in the back end that you could look at. They have a very detailed dashboard, which I think is super awesome. Now, like I said, I wanted to start off with showing you guys how to manage your users. And under the quick action, this is a great place to start. You can create your new applications. You can check the logs. You can explore integration, manage users, check the release notes. So first thing I want you guys to do is create a new user. And so just to show you guys how to do it, you can just hit create and you can give it a user type. You could be a service account. It could be an internal service account. It could be an external account, like a consultant. Internal users. So like, for instance, if it's a company, your internal enterprise setup, which you may need the enterprise version to get access to some of these features, but internal, you can create your user accounts and add an email address. You could set the password that you want for this user, or you could send them an invite via their email address. And so I'm gonna just hit cancel there. We're not gonna actually do it. I just wanted to show you guys that's one of the first things you want to do. You want to keep your admin account separate from your normal account that you'll use to log into everything as your single sign-on for your network. Now, let me go back and show you guys how to add an application, which we can go back to the overview. Again, you can click create new application, or you can go under the application tab right here on the left, but we're not going to do that. I'm gonna just hit create a new application, and let's go down and create something simple. So let's go Nextcloud. I believe I have a Nextcloud server somewhere on the system we could probably use. And one thing you do is grab a group. So let's say this is internal. You could just follow what they already have. In any policy, you must match to grant access. Now the UIs, and what you want to do under there is add your Nextcloud server. I have one on 57 that I don't really use. You can open in a new tab, that's fine, but we'll just roll with that. And then we could do OAuth, because I believe that's what's used there, and hit next there. Provider for Nextcloud, and then under authorized flow, you want to click there. It gives you the options. We're going to do explicit and then confidential. That's the client type, and then client ID, client secrets, and then your redirect URL. We could just put the IP address as well as the port, so we could drop that in there, and we could leave it on strict. That's fine. And then back channel logout, we can ignore that. Encryption key, yeah, we don't need to mess with any of that. And then configure, let's see, bind existing policy to the user. We can ignore this for right now. And then here we go right here. So let's just hit submit, boom, and we can go down and close that. And then let's go down and close it right fast, because we have our Nextcloud application. And so that's essentially how you create an application or add an application. All right, so let me jump over and show you guys a couple other things. So if we go under system, this is where you can modify the branding of it. So all you have to do is click the defaults, or you can create your own depending on how you want to set it up. But you can go and set your domain information, your branding settings. So if you have a logo, a favicon, default flow black background, custom CSS, you can add that, external user settings, default flow, and other global settings. So you can modify this and make it your own. And so that's a super dope feature to have. Now, let me show you guys the flow. This is like automation rules. You can say things like, if a user logs in from a new IP, require multi-factor authentication. So let's go into here right fast. You can also block login attempts from certain subnets. And what I compare it to is like group policy, so to speak. Like in Active Directory, you have your group policy. You can set the policy to do certain things depending on what the user is, and also modify the system so users have to do certain things depending on the group policy that's assigned to their user account. And in my opinion, this is where Authentik really shines compared to something like Authentik. Now, one more thing I wanted to show you guys was the logging. So if you go under events, you can go to logs, and they have a very detailed logging system. You can see successful logins, failed attempts, and policy actions. And if someone tries to brute force an account, you'll know immediately by looking at these logs. And that's the main sections I want to show you guys. Go down and look through Authentik and check out the options that are included in here. It's more options. I didn't cover everything. I just wanted to at least give you guys an overview of how to get it set up and get a few things configured. Now, before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips to make your Authentik deployment rock solid. You want to use a reverse proxy. Once you've tested it locally, place Authentik behind Nginx proxy manager or Caddy with a real SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt. That removes the browser warning and keep your setup secure. Also, you want to enable backups, and that's important for any application that you put within your home lab. Both the Postgres database and the media directory holds critical data. So schedule a nightly Docker volume backup using tools like Duplicate or Borg. Now, also go down and limit your resource usage. Authentik recommends at least 2 CPU cores and 2 gigabytes of RAM. If you're tight on resources, you can lower the worker concurrency in the environment variables. Now, this is super important. You should definitely set up multi-factor authentication. You need to enable that for all admin and privileged users. And then make sure you experiment safely. Spin up a test environment before connecting all your production apps, just to make sure your policies and flows work as intended. And that's it, y'all. Authentik is one of those tools that quietly simplifies your whole self-hosting workflow. And once you got it set up, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. And if you want to try it yourself, I'll leave all the commands and links down below in the description. I'll also work on getting it on the KeepItTechie wiki, where I'll post my Docker setup scripts. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone building their home lab. It really supports the channel and helps more people learn Linux one command at a time. Now, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Yo, what's up, y'all? Listen, if you've been sitting there thinking about making a move, let me tell you, tech is where it's at. I don't care where you're coming from, whether you've got a degree, a GED, or just pure hustle. There's room for you in this game. You see, tech is more than just keyboards and code. It's solving problems, creating opportunities, and building the future. You already have what it takes, because tech doesn't care where you start. It cares where you're willing to go. You can teach yourself Linux, learn Python, break into cybersecurity, or even launch your own app. And the resources are out here for free. And yes, you heard me, free. Now, yeah, it's gonna take effort. You'll have to grind, but think about this. The time is gonna pass anyway, so why not invest it in a skill that'll change your life? I mean, tech doesn't just pay the bills, it opens doors to freedom, stability, and generational wealth. So stop doubting yourself, start small, stay consistent, and keep building. Because this isn't just a career, it's a movement. And guess what? You belong here. So let's get it, because the future is yours to build. KeepItTechie. Wow.